If you've been dealing with that sharp burning sensation that travels from your lower back down through your leg, I want to start by telling you something that might reframe everything you've been told about it. That pain is real. It's not in your head, it's not exaggerated, and it's not simply what getting older feels like. It has a specific name, sciatica, and more importantly, it has a specific origin. One that, in the majority of cases I see clinically, has nothing to do with the leg where you feel it. Understanding that distinction is what makes the difference between treatments that mask the pain temporarily and movements that address what's actually driving it. Before I show you the 4 movements, I want to ask you to leave a comment below. Tell me what time of day your sciatica tends to be worst, first thing in the morning, after prolonged sitting, or later in the evening. That information genuinely shapes the content I produce each week, and I read through the comments regularly. Let me tell you about a patient named Gerald. He was 58 when he came in. He worked from home and had been dealing with right leg sciatica for nearly 18 months. He'd done 2 rounds of physical therapy. He'd tried muscle relaxants. He'd bought a standing desk, a lumbar support cushion, and a new mattress. Nothing had produced lasting relief. By the time he found my office, he had started sleeping in a recliner because lying flat had become intolerable. 5 weeks after I introduced him to the sequence I'm about to describe, Gerald sent me a message. He had slept in his bed, flat on his back, for the first time in months. The leg pain was still present, but had dropped enough that he could work through a full day without stopping to lie down. Here's what was happening in his body, and likely in yours. The sciatic nerve is the largest nerve in the human body, roughly the thickness of your thumb, running from the lumbar spine all the way to the toes. When it gets compressed or chemically irritated, the result is that familiar shooting, burning, electric sensation down the leg. But the compression point, the place where the problem originates, is almost always in the lumbar spine, specifically around the L4, L5, and S1 vertebrae, not in the leg where you feel it. At those vertebral levels, a group of small but essential stabilizing muscles have, over years of sitting and limited movement, become both weak and tight. When they stop doing their job, the space around the nerve roots narrows, the nerve gets compressed, the signal disrupts, and you feel it all the way down to your foot. 4 targeted movements can begin to reverse that process. Here they are. The first targets the multifidus, the deep spinal stabilizer that most people have never consciously activated. Lie on your back with knees bent, feet flat on the floor. Place your fingertips just below your lower ribs. Inhale slowly, then as you exhale, draw your lower abdomen gently inward. Not a sharp stomach pull, but a slow, controlled reduction of internal pressure, as if you're gently deflating from the inside. Hold that contraction for 8 seconds while continuing to breathe. 8 repetitions. This reestablishes the neural connection between your brain and the deepest stabilizing layer of your lumbar spine. Many people feel a gradual warmth developing in the lower back during this exercise. That's circulation returning to tissue that has been underserved, sometimes for years. The second movement is a nerve glide, one of the most effective and underused tools for sciatica relief. Remaining on your back, slowly draw the knee of your more affected leg toward your chest. As you do, simultaneously pull the toes of that foot back toward your shin. Hold 5 seconds, then lower the leg slowly while pointing the toes forward. 6 repetitions on each side. This gently mobilizes the sciatic nerve through the surrounding connective tissue, breaking up the adhesions that form when a nerve has been compressed and inflamed over time. Some people notice relief after the very first repetition. That's the nerve responding to decompression, and it's a good sign. I want to address something important here, because it's one of the most common ways people unintentionally worsen their sciatica. When the leg hurts, the instinct is to stretch it aggressively, pulling the knee hard into the chest, doing deep forward folds, forcing range of motion. With an already irritated sciatic nerve, that kind of force tends to increase inflammation rather than reduce it. The movements I'm describing are deliberate and controlled precisely because the nerve needs gentle, consistent input, not force. The third movement works the erector spinae, the long muscles running on either side of the spine that maintain the lumbar curve and create space around the nerve roots when functioning properly. If possible, lie face down. If that position is uncomfortable, place a folded towel under your hips. Rest your forehead on your hands and hold that position for 30 seconds. Let gravity do its work. This posture alone gently separates the vertebrae where compression is occurring. Then, keeping your forehead down, slowly lift your chest no more than 2 inches from the floor. The effort should come entirely from your lower back, not from pushing with your hands. Hold 3 seconds, lower slowly. 10 repetitions. This is not about height, it's about activating the right muscles with precision. Each repetition reinforces the support structure around the nerve roots and begins building the muscular environment the nerve needs to decompress. The fourth movement integrates everything. It looks simple. That's deliberate. Return to lying on your back with knees bent. Place a rolled towel or small pillow between your knees. Gently squeeze it, not maximum effort, just firm and steady pressure, while simultaneously pressing your lower back lightly into the floor. You're reducing the excessive lumbar arch, not eliminating the curve entirely. Hold 10 seconds, breathing slowly throughout. 8 repetitions. What this teaches your body is coordination between the pelvic stabilizers and the deep spinal muscles, the coordination that gets lost after years of sedentary patterns. Without it, the spine cannot maintain the decompression the nerve needs. With it, the nervous system establishes a new, more supported baseline. Many people feel a notable release in the lower back and legs somewhere in this set. Gerald did all 4 movements every morning before starting his workday. He told me the first week felt unremarkable. The second week he noticed he was sitting longer before needing to get up and move. By week 4, the recliner was back in the corner of the room, unused. Your body is not permanently stuck in this pattern. What's happening is mechanical and neurological, and both respond to the right input. 10 minutes, 3 times a week, done with genuine attention to what your body is communicating. That's enough to begin changing the environment the nerve is living in. If this gave you a clearer picture of what's driving your sciatica and what you can do about it, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Every week I share practical, evidence-informed content for people navigating pain and mobility challenges after 50. Next week I'll be covering a specific food that research has linked to reduced nerve inflammation during sleep, something that genuinely surprised me when I first encountered it in the literature. Leave a comment and tell me which of these 4 movements you're starting with, and how long sciatica has been part of your daily experience. You're not alone in this, and the right information changes everything.